Welcome, welcome to your Wednesday mindful movement class. So let's start on our chairs. I'm going to move my chair over the back so you can see me properly. Hopefully you can see me well. It's a little dark outside today, so that reflects a little bit on the inside situation. So come to your seated position where we are sitting right at the edge of the chair. And the edge of the chair is literally that if you are to roll your hips forward, you're going to feel really the edge, almost the tipping point. Obviously, you want to be not only comfortable, but supported. So if it's really, really off that you're way too far, then you go back a little bit. But for sure, you don't want to be in the center of your chair or the back of the chair because you want to have plenty of room behind you, between your back and the chair, to move and expand your body in. And then you bring your feet hip distance apart. And that hip distance apart means also that you're bringing your feet to parallel, not opening your toes out, because you want to have not only your feet hip distance apart, but your knees hip distance apart. So you have an alignment here that is very stable and very supportive between your feet, your knees, and your hips. And obviously your hips are supported also by the chair. But you're taking those two access points, the chair and the floor, as the base for your torso, your arms, and everything else to be able to move safely and steadily and with more ease and comfort and with hopefully a wider range of motion. The feet are right underneath the knees. You don't want to, I'm going to open my foot out to the side. You don't want the foot to be far away, neither under the chair. You want the foot to be right underneath the knee so that your shin bone can be perpendicular to the floor in that 90-degree angle. And if you try for yourself the different positioning of the foot, you'll see that the weight is not evenly distributed when your foot is out, in, a little further out to the side, or a little further in. You have a different distribution of the body weight onto the foot. And what you want to find as an ideal position is that position that allows to spread the weight evenly, equally all around the foot, from the front to the back, from the side to the other side. And that's what we achieve when we bring our feet right underneath the knees, hip distance apart and parallel. And then rest your hands gently on top of your laps and relax your shoulders down and allow the breath to start guiding how you're feeling this morning. So close your eyes and start breathing in and out through the nose and allowing that breath to guide you through the whole practice this morning, and hopefully to guide you a little more often into your life as maybe you bring awareness and attention to your breathing that is so spontaneous and natural and just goes on its own. But when we pay attention to our breathing, progressively the quality of our breathing increases. We have a deeper breathing, a wider breath, more oxygen in, the capacity to release carbon dioxide and stale air out more efficiently. And therefore, the whole body, all systems benefit from that. Not only from the gas exchange, the chemistry of what breath is about and the need we have of oxygen running through the blood, but also breathing is an amazing instrument to relax and settle our nervous system. So if you tend to be stressed out, if you tend to have anxiety, if you tend to be an overthinker that has shallow breathing and feels like all achy and tight in the body because of that, then deep breathing and massaging the vagal nerve that runs through the diaphragm can be highly, highly, greatly beneficial for you and for all of us. So let's take a few more breaths here where we go from sensing and feeling our breathing to going into the body, to leaving the head space for the next hour and go down into having a real communication, a real connection to our own body, including the aches and pains, but also paying attention to the areas of the body that feel at ease and comfort and happy And as you enter the body and you start noticing what's going on around the body this morning, pay attention to the fact that you're fully supported. First axis, when you go down from the head, is the axis of the sit bones in connection with the chair. And then the second axis to full support and anchoring and grounding yourself in stable, safe position is your feet. So feel those 2 points of access and allow the body to relax a little bit more into your sit position without collapsing. You still keep your back nice and long, but you relax into that tendency of holding things up and tensing up just in case. Just know that you're safe, not only to sit still, but also to move from this position. And let's gently open the eyes and start moving from here. So we're going to extend the arms forward and start with the wrists. We're going to start a little bit like we did on the last session on Friday, where I believe it's on Friday that I did this warm up, this 15-minute, or maybe it was a week ago, this 15-minute warm up that you could totally do every morning when you get up. And that I still need to edit that video to provide you with just a session. Let's reverse the hands to the opposite direction. So warming up and opening up every single joint in the body is a great way to open your day, to open the body to the rest of your day, to being active. Couple more rotation in this direction. And release. Now we're gonna relax the fingers, relax the hands, and rotate from the elbows out. Opening, rotating, keeping your shoulders down. And reverse. And when you do this on your own, if you were to remember the sequencing, then or watch the video that I hopefully will be posting this week, you can do 3 to 5 repetitions. That's enough. And then stretch your arms out. Keep a soft bend in the elbows. And we're going to go into the rotation of the shoulders. So keep your arms relaxed and your hands relaxed and your fingers relaxed. And you're just rotating from the elbow, from the shoulder joint out. If your shoulders are really stiff, you have some kind of shoulder surgery that restrict the range of motion, whatever the reason is that your range of motion is not as broad and wide as mine, you can go in tiny movements here. And you're still accessing the shoulder joints, which is what we want to access. And let's reverse. Now you're going to bring the arms back, sideways, up and down. And you go again to your own level of comfort. If your breath is compromised, meaning if you catch yourself holding the breath or struggling with the breath, probably the range of motion that you're working with is too wide. So you can take it more narrow and connect back to a smooth, easy flowing breath. And release the hands down, rest them on your lap. And let's go into the neck area. You're going to rotate your head from side to side. And breathe all along. Move your head to the pace that is comfortable to you. And then bring your head back to center to now tilt your head from side to side. We're aiming to a different angle in the neck. Let's go for a few more here. And back to center. And now you're going to be really careful with this angle of the neck. Not on the first portion of it where you tilt your chin down. This is quite safe here. When you tilt the chin down, make sure that you're not rounding the back along. You keep your back nice and long, your shoulders down. Is just a chin tilt. But then when you go in the opposite direction, Keep on lengthening the cervical spine, the neck, and tilt up just to look up to the ceiling, but not tilting the head all the way back. We don't want to compress the spine in this angle. Exhale, tilt your head forward. So you're going to keep on moving, and I'm going to tell you why you don't want to go far back. You keep that nice and gentle movement that you breathe in and out, inhaling as you bring your head up and you look up. Extend to the crown of the head and exhale, tilt forward. So there's a nerve that runs to the back of the neck into among the vertebrae, running through the back of the vertebrae. And this nerve, which is the famous vagal nerve, if you pinch it, can create a fainting. And obviously I don't want any of you to faint and fall from your chair. So don't tilt your head all the way back, just to make sure you're preventing that nerve pinching there. Next time that you bring your head slightly tilting back and up, open and close your mouth 3 times. And open your mouth really wide and close really tight. Just 3 times, and then bring your head back to center. And let's start little circling around the neck, around the back of the head to the tip of the nose. And again, for this one, I don't want you to roll your head all the way back in that compression mode. You're keeping the spine nice and long all along the neck area. And you're just circling to the tip of the nose forward. And that's enough of a circular motion to, again, help with releasing neck tension and warming up the neck joints. And let's reverse. Let's go a few times in the opposite direction. That usually we start with the side that feels easy, familiar. And when we change rotation side, we go into the awkward one. So let's do it one more time. And back to center. Then hands go and slide a little further toward the top of the knees. And now we're going to work into the mid spine to low spine. So the torso from the neck down. And for this, we're going to start gently rolling the hips forward and back. And again, I'll go sideways because it's not that obvious in that front plane to see what I'm doing. I'm rocking, gentle and easy, the hips forward and back. Rolling the sit bones on top of the chair. And then from the rocking of the pelvis, the mid-back was already engaging a little bit, but we're gonna accentuate this movement and go into a full arching and rounding. And see that my arching and rounding start from the low spine, but goes all the way to the back of the head and back of the neck. So there's a tilting of the head forward and back. And then final touch, which is not the least, you're gonna synchronize your breathing with the movement of your spine. You're gonna inhale, arch forward, shoulders come back, and exhale, round in. Now I want you to pay attention to the action of the feet and see if you can use your feet a little more, meaning that you're pressing and pulling from your feet to rock the hips and create this spine motion. 1 or 2 more rounds. And last. And back to neutral. Let's go now to the other extremity. We're going to go into the feet. This time, we're going to stretch the foot forward, the right foot forward, because you can do it set in many different ways to rotate the ankle. So we're going to anchor that right heel and rotate the foot. And what you see down here, I don't know how much you're seeing it, but Lala is here, my cat. And so I'm rotating my ankle, and each time that my toes are going down, they're touching her, and she's just like kind of pretending that she's being disturbed. Crazy cats. And reverse. You can see her tail. I can see it on my screen. So probably you see her tail moving. So let's take a couple more rotations here, nice and slow. And relax. Slide your right foot in, bring your feet back to parallel, and extend your left foot out. Anchor your heel and start cranking the ankle rotation. Play with your toes. See if you can, with the rotation of the foot, see if you can spread your toes, maybe curl them in, stretch them out, and reverse. Take a few more rotations here. And stop rotating with that last circle, going really slow, and slide that foot back in. Let's bring the hands to the knees and give a little opening and closing, shaking the legs. Now here you're rolling from the inner feet to the outer feet. And back to your neutral position. Anchor your feet to parallel, right underneath your knees. And we're going to clasp the hands, the fingers, right underneath the right leg. And when you're coming forward, always reminding you here, because I'm sure that several of you go back into the habit of rounding and grabbing your leg this way. So hinge from the hips. We already gave that motion to the hips to warm up the spine. So use that as the advantage of rolling your hips forward, nice back. You're tilting from the hips instead of rounding from the upper back. You catch your leg and you press down into the left foot to lift and tilt back. And here, let's take a few rocking boats here, forward and back. Your arms are straight, completely straight. You're using the weight of your leg to shift you forward and the weight of your torso to shift back. And then find the spot that is neither forward nor too far back, that is right in between, that allows you to settle here and feel comfortable and supported. And from here, we're going to rotate the right knee out. So you're circling what looks apparent, or more obvious, that you're circling out from the foot, but the rotation goes to inner and outer knee. Actually, the real rotation to be able to do that comes from the femur bone into the hip socket. The knees don't have the ability to rotate like the shoulders do all around. The knee can just flex and stretch out in a forward and back mode. But because we're able to rotate, and let's reverse here, the opposite direction, but because we're able to rotate from the femur bone into the hip socket, that would allow that knee to rotate in such a manner. And 2 more rotations. And relax. Now bring your right foot, if you can, on top of the left leg, opening your knee out. If this is not an easy access for you, it's not possible, then you bring the right ankle over the left ankle. In both positions, you want to keep your left leg in that 90-degree angle, no relaxing out to the side. You keep your torso lifting up, pressing down into the sit bones and pressing into the left foot. This low position, you're going to place your right hand to the inside of the thigh and do a little bouncing from here. And that will be your low position. If you're up here, make sure that you're using your left hand to secure the ankle on top of the leg. And from the inside of the right knee, you're going to do a little shaking here, a little pulsing the leg and knee. Again, it should not hurt. It can feel tight because hips tend to be really tight for most of us. And so you'll feel some resistance and you just bounce with that resistance, right? You press slightly and you allow it to release up, and that's the bouncing, that's your range of motion. Just a little bit more. You start feeling here as you keep on breathing, nice and easy. You feel the effect of the shaking along the whole leg into the right inner hip. And that's what we're trying to aim here. And stop the bouncing. Use your hands to release that right leg down. Uncross from the ankle or uncross from the knee. Sit back up and take a moment here. Watch, observe your right hip, your right leg. Feel the difference between the right leg and the left leg. In my case, I feel that my right leg is not only feels looser and more open, but also lighter. But that's my sensation. Yours can be completely different. And then we're gonna switch sides. So you're gonna clasp the fingers underneath the left leg as you bring the whole torso from the hinging of the hips forward. And then press this time into the right foot to push you up and left. And let's start the gentle rocking forward and back. Keep on breathing, nice and deep. And then find that spot right in between your neither leaning too far back, neither forward, and you find that perfect spot where you could stay here forever. Okay, we're not staying here forever, but you know what I mean, that it requires minimum effort because you're using your body weight to calibrate where your weight goes and how you're feeling balanced and supported. And from here, let's start that knee rotation. All these are really simple movements that you can recall and remember, even if they're separate from each other. If you were to recall one move of today's session and do it on your own, that would be a tremendous gain. And then let's reverse. Not only you would be working your body a little bit more, you could do that specific movement a few times in your day just for a few repetitions, but also you would connect to memory. Not only the memory of recording how to do the movement, but the body memory of retraining itself to have access to more options of movement. One more rotations here and relax. And let's bring the foot over, either on top of the right knee or down, crossing at the ankle level. And I'll start by that low end, but if you're up on the knee, you probably know what to do. But the concept here, the precept, is that we're bouncing and kind of shaking to the degree that the leg and the hip is allowing. The right leg is steady and it's a full support, an anchor for the movement of the left leg to be smooth and easy. If you're up here, anchor the ankle and start bouncing here. You may notice that one side is tighter than the other one. In my case, this left side today feels tighter, less open than the right, and that's okay. Don't be mad at your leg. Don't wonder why. Don't get worried on, oh my God, why is it so tight on this side? Or why is it so loose and the other one wasn't that loose? It's normal. It's perfectly normal to have different experiences on each side, even though we know that we have two arms, two legs, two ears, two eyes. The experience of each side is completely different and can be different from one day to another day, but also from 1 hour to another hour, depending on which stressors are expressing themselves into the body at any point of your day. Couple more. Pause and release, using your hands to release your leg down, whether it's at the ankle, on top of the knee. And take a moment here, take a few breaths in and out, and feel and notice both legs. Relax and soften the shoulders, relax and soften your weight on top of the chair and the floor. And now let's go into other angles of the spine. Just did the warm up of the full range of motion from hips to shoulders. And now we're gonna go in side stretches. So you're gonna bring your right arm over to the left and stretch and come back in. Inhaling left arm up, exhale, stretch out to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, release. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Let's do it a few more times. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Last one in movement. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Bring your right arm up, stretch far up. Reach, reach, reach. Press down into your feet to see if you can gain a little more length through the right arm. And then tilt out to the left a little bit. Don't go all the way to collapsing here. Just keep the length and press down into your feet and see which of the 2 feet is supporting you best. So if you were to press into the left foot or deeper, you'll feel that that calibrates and make sure that it's holding an edge for you. If you're like the foot, you could collapse a little further out to the side. So to keep the length, to keep the opening of the right side and pressing into the left foot gives you that stopper. If you press into the right foot, you might be able to lengthen a little deeper, but you start losing the connection to your right sit bone and tilting to the left. So press down into the left foot, calibrate and reach, and then slowly come back up and release that right arm down. Shake the right hand, right arm all the way to the shoulder and back to neutral. Feel and notice maybe that there's a little more space on the right side of the rib cage to breathe a little more fully. And let's go to the other side. Left arm up, straight up to the ceiling. Press into your feet, lengthen and stretch. Reach with the tip of your fingers to the ceiling fan. And then start tilting out to the right. Just a little bit. You're just enhancing the lengthening and the stretch to the left side without collapsing completely into the right side. And now press, alternate a little bit the pressing into your feet and notice how that shifts, how you sense the stretch, and then anchor into the right foot to have that stop position here to balance between the stretch on the left side and the steady stability on the right side. And then push your way back up. Release your left arm out and shake it out. And come back to your neutral position. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Let's go into the spinal twist now. So you're gonna bring your left hand to the outside of the right leg, nice and comfy. You don't need to go all the way to the front because that might tilt you forward. Neither too close in because that might not be supportive of using that as an axis to the twist. So maybe kind of halfway depending on the length of your arm. And you're gonna bring your right hand on top of the chair but behind you. So my hand is that touching to the back of the chair, but on the base of the chair, on the part that you're sitting on. And you're gonna inhale, press into your right hand down into the chair to lift and lengthen. Press down into your feet to expand the spine higher. And then you're gonna exhale into the twist. You're gonna use your left hand as a traction again, your right leg, and your right hand pressing down into the chair. Soften your right elbow, rotate your right elbow back, and then finally you can turn your head over the right shoulder if you wish. Now you have a double twist of the spine. First twist comes from the mid-back, and second twist from the neck part. One more breath here. Maybe on the exhale, you're able to reach a little deeper into the twist. And then we're going to soften the action of the hands and rotate everything back to center. Rest and pause. Bring your hands on top of your lap. Feel the spine. And let's go to the other side. Right hand is placed to the outside of the left leg. Left hand behind on top of the base of the chair where you're sitting on. As far back as you can so that you have plenty of space to rotate in. Because if your hand is really close to your low back, then you're stuck. If your hand is further back, you have space between your arm and your torso to rotate. Press down into your feet. Start activating that left hand, pressing down into the chair, lengthen the spine, create space first, and then using the action of the right hand pulling and the left hand twisting, you're gonna rotate out to the left. Turn your head over to the left shoulder if you wish. If not, you can simply relax your head to the front or halfway, especially if you have some tightnesses in your neck that makes it uncomfortable. But if not, if your neck is comfortable, you can go into this double twist. And breathe. One more breath here. Don't start thinking about your to-do list, what you're gonna eat for lunch, what you need to pay online or offline. Just be present with how it feels, the breath running through your spine in the twist. Inhale, slightly gently release the pressure of your hands, and exhale, rotate back to center. Find your center point here. Feel the weight of the body down onto the chair, down onto your feet. Maybe your shoulders are a little more relaxed here. Good. Opening the right foot out. So we're going to open the toes out first, the heel out, and the toes, and the heel, and the toes, and flex the foot. And try to find that position that your leg is straight out to the side. And now in that position that your right leg is anchored, you're going to open your left toes out, left heel out, and left toes out. And that's it. Left hand on top of the left knee. You're tilting your hips forward a little bit, but you keep your sit bones on top of the seat. And from here, we're going to slide out toward the right leg. And pretty early on, you're going to feel it tight onto the left side toward the low back, so you don't go too far. And then you slide back up. Exhale. Inhale. Sliding your right hand down through the right leg and your left hand slides through the left leg toward the hip. Your head tilts gently toward the right shoulder. Two more. And last, tilt out. Back in. Bring your right hand on top of the chair. Rotate your shoulders toward the right. And flex your foot really far back, meaning your toes are curling or trying to curl towards you, pulling towards the torso and towards the body. Stretch up, and then with your right hand pressing down on the chair, your left hand pressing down onto the leg, you're gonna lift the center of the chest up. And feel that pull and stretch from the top of the leg and the back of the heel to the center and upper chest. And soften. Bring shoulders back to center. Relax your right foot. Turn your right toes in, right heel in, right toes in, right heel back to parallel, left toes in, left heel in, and bring your feet back to parallel, hip distance apart. And recalibrate, reposition yourself on the chair as needed. If you lost a little bit, like I lost my center on the chair, make sure you're centered and well supported. And let's go to the other side. Left toes out, left heel out, left toes out, left heel out, Toes up, anchor your heel. Reposition, tweak, adjust. Make sure you're comfy here as much as possible. Make sure your toes are not rotating in on the left leg. Neither you're trying to open your toes further out. You're lining the space between the big toe and the second toe straight to the center of the ankle, the center of the knee, the center of the hip. Tilt your hips forward just a little bit to sit straight. And then now open the right leg. Right foot out, right heel out. Right toes out and stay. Right hand on top of the right leg. Make sure the right knee is right on top of the ankle. No folding in, no trying to open further out. And let's start with this active left leg flexing and the active right leg grounding. We're going to tilt and slide the left hand towards the left foot and come back up. And slide out. Right hand is sliding along the right leg. Left leg is sliding along the left leg and come back up. Inhale as you come back up. Exhale as you tilt. Breathe in and out. Make sure your shoulders stay equal. In the same position that you started, you're just tilting the torso. You're not closing the shoulder forward. That would be a lot more rare to open back. You just want to tilt in that same position towards the leg, in the same angle. And one last. And back to center. Rotate your shoulders towards the left leg as much as you can in a comfortable position. Make sure the right knee doesn't take advantage of that to drop in. Keep pressing down into the right foot. Right hand stays on top of the right leg. Left hand goes on the chair. And you're pressing into that left hand, pressing into the right hand, rotating toward the left, and then lift and stretch the breastbone, the center of the chest here and the lower. Slide up, stretch up, and breathe. And gently release back to neutral, shoulders forward. Relax your left foot, turn the toes in, heel in, toes in, heel back to parallel. Bring the right foot in, right heel in, and bring your feet back to hip distance apart. Take a moment here. Feel your back, feel your shoulders, feel your legs. Bringing your hands behind you, we're going to catch the back of the chair. Hopefully you have a chair that allows that. I haven't thought about it until now that it came to my mind. If you have like an office chair, they tend to be wider, but one way or another, you'll be able to grab something behind you, whether it's the arms of a chair and toward the back of those arms or the back of the chair itself. And then you're going to roll the shoulders back, elbows rolling back. So you bring your shoulder blades together. And then from here, you pull the chest forward. So your arm here are straight. I'm rocking the hips forward. There's a slight arching into the low back. But most importantly, I'm trying to bring the shoulder blades together and broaden the chest. And then from here, lift again the center of the chest up and away from the pubic bone. Press down into your feet and breathe. Feel the breath, the inhale, lifting the lower ribs up, giving a nice belly stretch. And on the exhale, ground into your feet, ground into your sit bones, and soften the space between the shoulder blades. Maybe you're able to stretch them back together a little bit more. And then we soften. Bring the breastbone back in. Release your arms. Bring your arms forward and cross your right arm on top of the left. See how far you can cross before you hug, and find the placement of your hands, whether lower onto your upper arms or to the side of the shoulders, if you can hug a little tighter. Or for some of you, you might be able to bring the hands all the way to the shoulder blades. And from here, whether you're in a position or another one, you're going to inhale And exhale, round into the space between the shoulder blades. Drop the chin in and use your hands, whether they're on your arms, on the shoulders, or on your shoulder blades, to spread the shoulder blades apart a little bit more. Feel the stretch all the way to the stretch of the skin. Chin down, feel the pull to the back of the neck. And gently release the pressure and the pulling from the hands to rise back up. Open your arms out, spread the fingers apart and wide. And let's go to the opposite way of crossing your arms. You're bringing your left arm on top of the right. Cross as far out as you can, and then bend the elbows to grab wherever your hands are landing. And let's start the stretch here. Inhale. Exhale, round into the upper back. Drop the head, relax your neck, and spread the shoulder blades apart. Breathe into the upper back, deeper, wider, longer. Soften the action of the hands to come back up, unwrap, open out, spread the fingers, stretch through the palms, and release your arms down. Hands come on top of the knees, shift and rock the hips forward, press down into the feet. Here, squeeze your pelvic floor muscles, squeeze your belly in, and bending the elbows so you can shift a little further forward, press and lift up. And let's go to the back of our chairs. Standing to the back of your chairs, bringing your feet in the same alignment that you had when you were sitting. Hip distance apart, parallel. And we're gonna go into a little warm up, a little short jog. Don't worry, you're not gonna be actually running, but you're gonna get the action of bending the knees one at a time forward. And therefore the opposite heel, the same heel, sorry, is lifting up. The opposite leg is straight. And your jogging at first might be a little achy and a little tight in here. So you can just shake a little bit and feel the lightening to the heel. But as you're able to also loosen up into your hips, you're able to lift your heels higher, and therefore your knees are poking out higher and stronger. And you're kind of bouncing on the ball of the feet. And here all along, you keep on breathing, because if you stop breathing and you're highly active here, and you get that increase of activity around the heart, then you stop breathing and you're not pumping all the oxygen that you should for the heart blood to flow properly. So you want to breathe in and out deep, so there's no cramping happening, there's no tightening of the body. You keep the breath flowing. Let's go for a few more. Obviously, if you feel extremely tired and you cannot go on, just stop, breathe, and see if you can come back to it. And let's do that a little bit more to get some action and blood flow in the legs. A few more times. And slow down, and one leg at a time. Stretch deep through the opposite leg and lift your heel as high as you can to stretch through your toes. And then we switch. And press into the ball of the foot, stretch the toes, stretch the sole of the foot. And let's switch and do one more time on each side. And last side, last stretch of the toes. To me, it feels really good. That's why I'm keeping you there, because after the initial achiness of it, then it feels really good. And then release that right foot down. Stand tall, relax the shoulders. Give a little movement of the hips forward and back with a soft bend of the knees here. Back to center. Now, gently sway the hips from side to side. Your sway can be very narrow, right here, or gently and progressively can build into wider. Don't collapse all the way to the side, like here. My shoulders are moving just to counterbalance with the hips sliding from side to side. Next time your hips are out to the right, stay here. So your hands should be on the chair. I'm having them here because I'm facing you and I'm showing you the movement of the hip. But from here, so you're bending that left knee a little bit. Hard to see, but my left knee is bent a little bit. And my right leg is straight. And I'm pushing out to the side into the right glute and outer hip. And then to enhance that, your right hand stays on the chair and you're going to place your left hand to the side of the left hip, like right here. You're trying to aim at the connection of the femur bone with the hip. So that goes down here, I would be on my leg. Up here, I would be on the top of the hip. You want to be right at the level of the hip joint. And from here, you press out with your left hand. I'm pressing across to the right. And you should feel the stretch right here. Be mindful. You feel also the stretch here. For some of you, I'm feeling it myself. And then bring everything back together to center as you relieve the pressure of the hand. And let's do a few more from side to side to warm up. And then next time you're swinging your hips to the left, stay here. Left leg is straight, right knee is bent. Left hand to the chair, right hand to the outside of the right hip joint. Press in and across. And breathe. And release the pressure to come back to center. Good. Soft bend in the knees. Give some hip rolls here. So see, my knees are bent. If my knees are straight up, I can barely move my hips. Bend the knees. You don't have to bend them a lot, just enough to unlock the movement of the hips. And reverse. And back to center. Stepping your right foot back. Find how far back you can go with your weight onto your hands and chair and the left foot. And then bring your right foot down. And you're going to bend the left knee and release. And we're going to do this about 3 to 5 times. And when I'm bending my left knee, the hips are shifting forward. You can even, if you go really deep, you can bend the elbows. Make sure that the left knee is not going past the toes. So watch down and watch out for that. And just go right at that limit and stretch through the back leg. The back leg is straight. One more. And back, both legs are straight. We're going to come forward, fold from the hips, hang out here. If you feel adventurous and you know that you're pretty flexible and you have the ability without losing your balance to move your chair a little further forward. Right hand on the chair and you can slide your left hand along the left leg and see if that feels right. And make sure you're supported by the chair here. Make sure also, I'm going to come back up, but you can stay. If you're here, make sure you're not dropping your head down. Keep your spine parallel to the floor. That would be your edge. And make sure here that your legs are not in a straight line. You want your right leg out to hip distance apart. So here, you're a lot more stable to come forward. And then push back up. Bend your front knee and hop that right foot forward. Give a little sway from side to side, kind of the reset button here. And back to center, back to neutral, to now shift your weight to your right leg and right foot so you can step back again, not narrow, but to the same distance of hip distance, the same broad. And reach back and bring your left foot down. Hands to the chair. And we're gonna bend the front knee, stretching the back of the left leg, and then push back up. And bend, and push. And let's do it 2 more or 3 more times. And breathe. And last. And stay. Both legs straight. Come forward, hinging from the hips. You're not doing this. Again, I can see you across the screen. I know it's crazy, right? But I know for a fact that probably at least a few of you are doing this. So think about the hips, always from the hips. The torso goes from the hips to the shoulders. It's not limited to here. So you have to go from the hips flexors into going forward. So the spine is nice and long and your back is not struggling. And this way you really access to stretch the back of the legs. If you do it from here, you'll feel all the stress and the stretch on your back, not on your legs. So from here, go here. So that would be your chill out level, especially if you're really tight in your hamstring. That's where you want to be. I know some of you personally from having you in class in person, and you're more flexible than that. So if you feel stable and you have a way to move your chair one side at a time, slide it forward a little bit to make more space, then left hand on the chair, right hand on the leg, and you slide out. Maybe you're able to place your right hand on your shin. You keep your spine straight, and now you'll have a deeper stretch to the back of the leg. To be able to stay here safely, you'll feel that naturally your belly kicks in and gets active into squeezing in to help stabilize hips and legs. One more breath. And then walk your way back up. If you were all the way down, press back up into your hands, bend the front knee, shift your weight to your front foot to hop forward your left foot, and give that last nice little swing of the hips. And very last move for today, the full back stretch before we close our session. You're going to walk back as far as you need to be able from the hinging of the hips to come forward. And find your spine to ideally being parallel to the floor. If your hamstrings are resisting a lot, you bend the knees. And once you bend the knees, you try to stick the tailbone back as if you were going to sit on a chair behind you. Obviously, you are not doing that, but that's the intention. You wouldn't sit right here, right? Knowing that the chair is behind you, reach behind you and stretch out. So get that stretch. Arms are resting, either your hands or your wrists are supported by the chair. And nice long arms, head is between the arms, and you're pulling the sit bones back and away from you. Away from the chair. And breathe 1 or 2 more breaths here. Feel that nice back stretch. Feel the stretch across the chest, into the belly, into the armpits and the arms. And then gently press through your feet to press back up. Round up a bit. And walk your way forward. Arms to the side, shake them out. And let's go back to sitting on the chair to close our session this morning. Come back to your neutral position here. Feet underneath the knees, hip distance apart, hands resting on your lap. Move your head just a tiny bit from side to side, front to back, to find neutral spine here where your head is just floating above the torso. And the ears are ideally aligning with the shoulders. And then close your eyes and tap into your breath. Notice the quality of your breath, the stream of smooth, easy air coming in and out of your nostrils. And imagine that your torso is a container. It can be a jar, it can be a vase, it can be a barrel, it can be a bottle, whatever you want to imagine your torso to be. And imagine that you're filling up this bottle, this container with your breath. So when you're pouring water down from the tap into a jar, you'll notice that the water is filling up from the bottom up. So imagine that the air is dropping down to the bottom of your container, to the bottom of the lungs, and slowly filling up all the way to the top of your container, almost to an overflow of that air out of the bottle or the jar. And then as you exhale, water of breath, and the stream of breath is releasing from the top to the bottom. And when you're reaching to the bottom, you squeeze it out. And you let the air pour back in, inhaling. Find the tip of the breath and exhaling, letting it go out. And another inhale, full breath in, fill up your container to the top, find the overflow of the breath. And exhale, let it all go out like a spring in the mountains, coming out of some rocks and going down the stream. And then letting go of that visualization of your breath and your body container to simply feel your body. Feel your feet and your legs. Feel your hands and your arms. Feel your hips and your shoulders. Feel your low back, middle back, upper back and shoulder blades. Feel the back of the neck, the back of the head, the top of the head. Feel the right side of the head, right side of the neck, right shoulder, right arm, right side of the rib cage, right hip, right leg and right foot. Feel the left side of the head, left ear, left neck, left shoulder and top of the shoulder, left arm, left side of the rib cage, left side of the waistline, left hip, left leg and left outer left ankle. Feel your inner feet, inner legs, pubic bone, belly and navel, low ribs to the front, center of the chest, front of the throat. Feel your chin, your lips, tip of the nose, ridge of the nose, space between the eyebrows, forehead, top of the head. Feel your right eye and your left eye, your right ear, your left ear, right cheek, left cheek, upper teeth, lower teeth. Feel your tongue, feel your palate, Feel the breath inside your nostrils, to the back of the nostrils, down through the throat. Feel the breath in your chest. Feel the breath in your belly. Feel your whole body at once. Feel your whole body at once. Feel your whole body at once. Rubbing your palms together. Cupping your eyes with your hands. Rest in the warmth of your hands, the warmth of your breath. For just a bit, feel the melting of tension throughout your face through the gentle touch and warmth of your hands. Relax your eyes and your eyelids. Soften all around your face into your jaw. Now we're ready to gently release the hands from the eyes. Open your eyes. Notice bright colors around, shapes of objects, sounds.